Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to a very special occasion, purely for your entertainment tonight. We are your hosts, Lionheart, Mike Nikos, and I'm here with
the Executioner, Michael X.
And welcome to
Open Mic Night.
You ready to start this?
Yeah, I'm not gonna get into the formalities. I'm just.
I'll do it for you if you know.
Go ahead.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a emergency situation open mic night. Where we bring the facts to you. And the fact is, Ghost of Tsushima, FF7,
and Animal Crossing New
Doom
Horizons
Eternal and Animal Crossing did
got fucking robbed.
Did not receive the Game of the Year award. And instead, the game that we all knew was going to win, because of course it had to.
And it was
Last of Us 2.
The Last of Us 2.
Now
we made...
Credit where credit is due. We all knew it was going to happen. We're not shocked by this. We are just very upset by this, because it does not deserve it. It is a fucking pile of a game that tries to go artistic, but looks autistic.
It's just a game that carries no shred of DNA from the predecessor, that tries to do something different, but on paper and on screen just looks abominable. It's horrendous, and it's just flat out ridiculous. Competing against the games that were in line for Game of the Year that are so artistically well and artistically designed, beautiful, only to fall short because, well, it's no secret to the fact that the Game Awards was always a rigged system from the start, so yeah, this was not a shock that we were not expecting. So, and we should have seen this from the start, because I started watching the Game Awards earlier, just to see that hopefully I was wrong. But
were you?
No, they were doing a terrible job hiding the fact that this game would win.
I think they knew what was going to happen. And I think even they were like, oh, please, God, don't let it fucking be so. Because out of all of the projects that doesn't deserve this award, it's this one. I know people are going to sit there and say, oh, you're just really butthurt because Ghost of Tsushima didn't win it. It's not even the fact that that game didn't get it. It's the fact that out of all the titles to receive it, it's this fucking title. A game that literally insults your intelligence and doesn't care what you think.
Like, it's baffling at the fact that everyone treated this game as, like, low-tier trash. And for those of you who were not expecting it to eventually win all these awards that were, like, the primary awards...
It was the game of the night. It's fucking Red Dead Redemption 2 all over again.
Yeah.
Where with Red Dead, it was like, that literally just came out by the time that they did the Game Awards.
Yeah,
and it
but the
won
only difference
pretty
is
much every single fucking title because it was a brand new hot game.
And the fact that I knew this was rigged, like earlier in the polls, for people's predictions or votes on like Twitter or Twitch, people said Ghost of Tsushima was gonna take it. That was a calculated vote on Twitter and Twitch. Even to the
Nope.
Game Awards, they said Ghost would win. So how did fucking this game win?
I'll tell you. Because Neil fucking Fuckelman decided to suck a dick. And he sucked the biggest dick of them all.
He sucked
He
every
sucked
one of
the
their
dick
dicks.
of game journalists. Super hard. Harder than he's ever sucked any other dick in his life.
To the point where every time we see his face on the Zoom call, he just wouldn't look straight into the camera because he knew what he had done.
Uh-huh. He sucked a dick. He sucked a dick in order for Sony to do a Game of the Year edition. Let's call it as is.
For those of you who are still willing to buy a Game of the Year edition of this game,
Now, games that do deserve Game of the Year editions are games
Sure.
that have content. This game doesn't have content. Because this game doesn't give a fuck about what you like. This game cares about one thing.
it's what the director wants. It's what these journalists want. It's what this agenda for political ideology, what they want. And that's not how it was always meant to be. Video games is supposed to create an immersion where it separates real life and takes you into a world of how you never were able to conceive before. A magical, beautiful, colorful world where you can do what you want when you want. But sometimes game directors, they kind of experiment on new ways on how you're supposed to perceive reality. Where in this case, Neil Druckmann just said, let's just take reality and blow it up in the face of the players, but let's just make sure that it appeals to my understanding or my political views. Just so they know. Which, why, again? How is that a good example for gaming? Because I went into this thinking that, it's just going to be some joke that, just because 2020 is considered the worst year, Last of Us would probably win, worst game, award of the worst year. It's like poetry, so it could rhyme. But, man, this is just a whole new form of irony right here.
It was a fucking joke. Like, that was the joke we had for like a month. Which was why,
actually.
And it fucking did it?
I don't know, man. Knowing the Game of the Year awards is not that completely reliable over the years, so I'm just going to say the fact that this was heavily rigged.
Oh, you fucking think?
Oh, no, I don't think. I know it was rigged. Because you and I and the other boys of the Indie Force have seen proof of the sales of the games that came out aside from Last of Us 2 that skyrocketed. Hell, even a 3-year-old game, Breath of the Wild, sold more copies in a sale than Last of Us 2. A 3-year-old game sold more copies than this game. And you're telling me that a game that made 1,000 sales? 100? Bar medium? Is awarded the title of Game of the Year? A game that really doesn't deserve it because it doesn't have the artistic mind? Or at least the atmosphere of an artistic mind? I mean, I stopped playing the game because I just took one look at it and I'm like, wow, this is depressing. I didn't want to be depressed, but here it is. Like, goodness. What were you supposed to expect going into this game? Like, how is this considered like a sequel for a game that does not carry any sort of DNA from the predecessor that made the series good. And of course, you know that there's going to be a third game in the works, which if you're still invested on
Because
getting more
why
Naughty Dog
not?
products, if you're still invested on getting more Naughty Dog products, I have a solution. Just what I do and say, file for hood bankruptcy, which in this terminology, just sell your PlayStation or PlayStation 5 or 4, switch to Xbox if you're really still considering getting more Naughty Dog trash. Because this is not worth it.
And just want to say, it's not the developer's fault that this game is fucking bad.
No, it is not. I will go on record that say it is not the developers, it's not the voice actors' fault. It's not even the animators' fault. Or the people who designed the mocap.
Well, I mean, one of the animators was also the director of the game, so
That,
if you know where I'm
yes.
coming from with
Yeah.
that.
Mm-hmm. I actually forgot about that and wanted to block that from my
Well,
memory.
I remember it, so fuck.
Mm-hmm.
The days I'd never want to say that line because of what it fucking entails.
Yeah. Like, really, you gave Game of the Year to a guy who wanted to fulfill his fantasy sex lead by mocapping himself,
Fucking
having
himself.
sex with himself. You
For
had
drama?
for suspense?
I don't
You
think it was
had-
suspense.
I mean, you had a character, you designed a character who from the original concept, like the original concept of this villain looks good, but on the final result, the motivation, the backstory, the overall character is just the worst villain character ever created. And yet, that character, that villain, is awarded best performance in these awards. Now, granted, Laura Bailey, you're an amazing actress. I will say that. You're good at what you do. But deep down, you have to admit that the person you were voicing, Abby, you have to admit, even if you leave Naughty Dog 5 years from now, 10 years from now, you got to admit she was the worst female villain that you ever had to voice. Because who in their right mind would love the fact that they want to voice act someone as convoluted and moronic as Abby, whose only motivation ended up winning because she was a character that got what she wants and had no repercussions because she doesn't get that until all her friends are dead.
In an apocalypse game, by the way.
In an apocalypse game, sure.
In an apocalypse game, you get exactly what you want. Sure.
And what does that leave for Ellie? The character that we were emotionally invested in the first game. Druckmann, did you really wanted to squander her legacy, her fears from the first game, saying that Ellie, her biggest fear was being alone? Did you really want to shatter her hopes and eventually turn her into a villain who's lost everything?
Obviously. Because that's exactly what he fucking did.
Like, I'm okay with the fact that Ellie was gonna become a villain, but the fact that every major person from Abby's faction, her closest friends, even after Ellie guns down the people that were closest with Abby, she feels regret after every person she's killed. Like, I'm sorry, that's not how you write a character who's supposed to regret her actions. Because what about all the other random NPCs with names that walk around Ellie and she's forced to kill? Does she feel no remorse? But no, just only Abby's main friends does she have to feel remorse and regretful? Get out of here.
Can you imagine if the Punisher after killing thousands of people, goes and fights the main villain of the arc and cries. That's fucking stupid because he wouldn't do that. Because when you have massacred hundreds of people, by the way, hundreds, not like 5 or 6 people, hundreds of people.
Including animals, like dogs. And I love the fact that Druckmann says, "Oh, you don't have to kill dogs on your journey. When I played the first time, I never had to kill any dogs." Motherfucker, there was a cutscene where you were forced to kill a dog. And it was
Like,
Abby's
literally
dog. Who gives a
forced.
shit?
Like, literally forced to kill an animal. Unless you have some magical developer fucking blinders, obviously, is the thing here. It is quite impressive that he's able to just go, eh. And everybody goes, fair. See,
Like,
that's what happens when you have a dog.
I made
Truckman's
this
got a fucking knife getting ready to stab him.
Yeah. Like,
Oh my god, fuck this game. Oh my god, fuck this game.
like,
And I know our buddy Jack right now is going through it, and God fucking help him on that. But you know,
he's probably like,
to
"Oh,
each-
it's just a game, you know? It is
it is
just an
just a
innocent
game,
game."
and it's just terribly written, and it's trying to be this big piece of media that it isn't. That
Like,
is so fucking mind-numbing and stupid. It's like, it's one thing if I have to question the character's motives and actions. It's another thing when I'm doing that throughout the entirety of the fucking game.
it's just, you know what's weird? When I started playing Last of Us 2, I was like, you know what? I'm in a depressing mood. I wonder if I played this game, I will be less depressed. And I'm sorry to those people who are like, "Oh, I played Last of Us 2 and I found it less depressing." It's impossible to feel anything less depressing than this game. This game will just suck the life out of anyone who wants to enjoy things. And that's why I played Ghost of Tsushima first, because I really wanted not to feel depressed. Like, I wanted to have a good time. I wanted to feel happy while playing a game. Now,
You know what's funny,
sure,
by
go
the
ahead.
way? To give my example of a game that was critically panned when it came out compared to this game,
Mm-hmm.
I'm playing Arkham Knight because I'm like, you know what, fuck it. I got the cash on me. I'll finally do myself a favor and get this game. I've heard mixed reviews and I want to get my own opinion on it fully. It's been a long time since it came out, so I don't have to look up anything and get into it. I just completed the fucking Mr. Freeze most fucking DLC. And that has more emotion behind it than anything in Last of Us 2 attempts. Because the characters act like they're fucking supposed to. They don't do this 180-degree turn multiple times for no fucking reason. Is there a lot of stupid shit in the game? Yes. Is the Jason Todd thing right up in your fucking face and isn't mentioned throughout the entirety of the game? Absolutely. I will not deny that. But for the mini character moments, the emotionally, like, really good moments that are obviously Rocksteady doing some very fucking good work, it is flawless of how human they've made some of these characters. Where Last of Us 2 has no fucking idea what a human emotion is.
Hell, they couldn't even design
It's
a
like
perfect
watching
human
robots try to
face, right?
understand what humans do. That's what it feels like.
Yeah, and if you've seen the facial design for these characters, like, it's not
It's
human, like
rough.
I've
Like
said it before.
they look good, but my God, is it rough?
It's terrifying to look at. And yeah, when you're talking about human emotional factor, like I went into this Game Awards like trying to feel happy. Hell, the only emotional happy moment that I had watching the Game Awards was spoilers. I just saw the teaser or the teaser trailer for Left 4 Dead 4. I think that was the only happy moment I had while watching the entire Game Awards. Because I'm like, yes, finally, Left 4 Dead 4. We've been waiting for that game for like years, since 3. And many of us doubted that the game would ever come out.
You mean Left 4 Dead 3, because we've only gotten Left 4 Dead 2. Which means
Yeah.
Valve can count to 3.
Mm.
And that means hopefully Half-Life's next. One can hope.
Hopefully, one day.
Oh my God, one can hope. But
I am glad for the
it's-
fact that the best AR game that won in the Game Awards was Half-Life Alyx, which, to the extent, yes, it deserved to win. Half-Life Alyx is indeed an amazing VR game that lets you interact with the world of what's going on now in the Half-Life, is how the engine looks like now. More importantly, how it will look like if 3 will ever be released.
On top of the fact that they have literally changed the fucking ending of 2. Because
Of course.
Half-Life Alyx is canon.
Mm-hmm.
And it literally changes the original ending of 2. Which, if nobody knows, I will not spoil. Because it is... Oh boy, you have never seen James go, no, no, and fucking lose it for a character that he meets for like a quarter of a second.
Of course. But let's talk about some of the other awards of the game, like best, I guess, best narrative work. Like, remove Last of Us 2 from this equation. I'm just gonna go ahead and say, for best narrative, it would have to be for Ghost of Tsushima on account that how well written it was for each of the characters that you only knew for like a short amount of time. I love the interactions with Lady Masako, Sensei Ishikawa, Lord Shimura, even the villain, Koten Khan. I get the struggles of what's going on during the invasion of Tsushima. I understand the characters, how they feel, what their mission is, and how they accomplish their hopes in order to have Tsushima one day be free from the Mongol invaders. What motivation was I supposed to expect in Last of Us 2 again?
Well, Ellie gets to play the guitar, and you can play Metallica.
And you can play any other acoustic pop song covers while massacring an entire legion of survivors looking for one person who unwittingly and unfairly got what she wanted because plot.
Hey, you know what's great?
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, that nobody is calling Cuckman out for. The fact that they entirely changed the doctor who was originally going to operate on Ellie's race. That has not been brought up once.
I will say this. When the award was brought up for Best Written Narrative, it said for the 2 awards would go to Druckmann and another writer who I think her name was Amy Gross or something. I don't know if it was Amy or Sally, but I do know her last name was Gross. When I saw her on the Zoom chat, I was thinking, what if Druckmann wasn't there? Like, what if he's not attending these Game Awards? What if he knows he feels ashamed, and the fact that he has to appear in the Game Awards would just, I feel like someone would call him out, and I'm like, he's probably not going to show up because I feel like someone would call him out. But no, when the award for Best Game Directive came, he shows up, and yet no one from the other nominees of Best Game or Best Written Structure called him out. Like, if I was the writers behind Ghost of Tsushima, Final Fantasy VII Remake, or even Animal Crossing New Horizons, I would have immediately called that asshole out. I would have told him, hey, you're a thief. You rigged this. Everyone hated your writing. Everyone hated your game. So how is it possible that you won? But nah. Apparently that's not allowed for the rigged awards. And on top of it, the fact that they brought in Troy Baker to announce the fact that when he gave this long spiel about, oh, when Neil Druckmann came to me, he asked me, what did you want it to be if you didn't get into the gaming business or in the acting business? And he goes on this long spiel of how Druckmann helped him, he saved him from his career, of what Troy Baker was going to do.
The fuck is... I'm sorry, is Troy... I did not watch this. I only heard this because I'm like, I am not watching this fucking... because I know how terrible it's going to be. Are you telling me that professional voice actor Troy fucking Baker is sucking his dick? Troy Baker is getting on his knees and is blowing Druckmann in front of all these people, metaphorically, it's to be said. That fucking blows my mind. Like, it's not enough to be in a fucking shitload of projects. It's not enough.
I mean, you played as Magni in God of War.
You were fucking Booker DeWitt. You were the Arkham Knight, motherfucker.
You were the dude in Death Stranding.
Like, hold on. I'm gonna go over some fucking filmography here really quick, if you don't mind.
And while you do that, while Troy Baker is incessantly blowing off Druckmann on stage, he allures us to the fact that Last of Us 2 isn't going to win. But then he says, anyway, to show you how Last of Us 2 might not win Game of the Year, here's a rendition of Future Days by the singer of Pearl Jam. I'm not making this up. The lead singer of Pearl Jam on a Zoom chat is singing Future Days, the song from Last of Us 2, a song that became tarnished based from the plot of the game. Like, literally, the first time, if I were to lose you, I will not be myself. If I were to lose you. Ellie lost everything. How was it supposed to be hopeful to her? She loses. She gains nothing in the end. She lost the relationship with Dina, the baby boy, Tommy, Joel's brother, and the exception of 2 fingers missing from her left hand, which, she needed to play the guitar, which eventually she lost Joel because of the connection with her and her guitar. Great job. Great. I really needed to know that.
So really, really quick, there is the ability to play with the other hand.
That's what I kept saying.
So just to put in perspective, the voice of Kenji Tatsumi from Persona 4, no, I guess that means nothing. guess this just fucking means shit, right? Absolute fucking shit.
And
Am
of
I right?
course,
This is
of course.
you know.
And like I said, the man who played Magni, son of Thor, brother of Modi, one of the boss fights in God of War, who shows up, is killed by Kratos. Spoiler.
Who's shocked? Nobody.
But the
Nobody's
fact that
fucking
he
shocked by that.
but the fact that he voiced a god means nothing.
I mean,
Or how about the fact that he voiced, like I said, the character Riggs from Death Stranding?
how about the fact that he's fucking Nova? You know, Nova, the Marvel superhero Nova.
How
No, that's
about
not okay. That's not cool enough to be as a character. Fine, well, I'll keep fucking going through this list till I find one that's like, hey, you're also Tim Drake, Robin, Harvey fucking Dent, you know, Two
Pagan
Face,
Pagan Min
the
from Far
main
Cry 4?
character of Saints Row 3 to 4. That's not cool enough for you? Okay. How about a fucking plethora of voices from Star Wars The Old Republic? That's not good enough for you? Okay.
How about the voice of the main characters in the mobile game Infinity Blade for the first 3 games on a mobile game?
How about being fucking Greed from Full Metal Alchemist? I guess that doesn't matter.
All these characters,
You know,
they don't
besides
matter
also
to you.
voicing Batman, he's been the Joker and he's been Batman. That's not good enough. What do you want to be, Ryu Hayabusa? Because you fucking are.
Like all these characters, and yet your most prominent, your best
He was fucking
performance.
Booker DeWitt. Bioshock Infinite's fucking Booker DeWitt. He's been fucking Sinestro. He's been fucking Dick Grayson, Nightwing. Like, no, that's not good enough for you.
No, because
Do you
apparently
need more?
Joel was the fan favorite, which I understand. Joel, yeah, great character, but let's be honest, he was the biggest villain according to our last video when we talked about him.
He's literally the villain. He's got the villain origin story. He's the villain of the game. Loses his fucking daughter because of the military. Then eventually goes and seeks the Fireflies who are attempting to create a cure from this random girl's DNA that he doesn't like at start.
And the whole purpose was to trade her to get his guns back.
Yes. And then he goes, you know what? Fuck the world. Nobody likes the world. It sucks.
I'm just going to go for a fact here to say that the whole story for Last of Us 2 is pretty convoluted based on the fact that this whole thing resolved around that one scene where Joel saves Ellie from the hospital because the Fireflies were that desperate to believe that a worldwide fungus virus would be cured by a vaccine, which no living proof or experimentation otherwise would have proven to have worked. But
Wait,
again,
why didn't they just use bleach?
why didn't they just accept the fact that there was no cure and that the whole journey was the
Nikos.
waste of time?
Nikos, you do know that one way to fight off any type of fungus is using bleach. So if they wanted to oh my god,
It was
if they
either
wanted to
bleach.
defeat
Hang
the
on.
clickers-
Hang on. It was either bleach or alcohol. And throughout the game, we see Joel picking up alcohol to craft Molotovs. You're telling me this dumbass couldn't have used alcohol, especially rubbing alcohol, to like cure this thing?
Are you telling me all they had to do was just fucking make kids eat Tide Pods and they would have solved their problem?
I would have accepted that as a better story than Last of Us 2.
Like, Jesus Christ. When your main fucking, like, problem is so minuscule, it's not even funny.
Oh, and it gets worse. If you remember the fact that when Joel kills the doctor in Last of Us 1, the doctor got retconned because he was black
Uh-huh.
and was replaced for this whole bullshit storyline.
Uh-huh. No, but hey, remember. In this story, it's not whitewashing. He totally didn't just whitewash a character.
Yeah.
Totally didn't do that.
Why?
Nobody has brought that up, by the way, that nobody's pissed off about that.
I think someone else has, but, I digress.
Like, no, but that's the whole thing. How come people aren't pissed off about this? Like, whatsoever.
I feel like
How is
tomorrow,
this not the thing that people are so fucking mad about?
I feel like tomorrow it'll be rage. Oh, there will be hell of a rage tomorrow. I can already hear the comments. In fact, my biggest regret was not turning on the live chat feed so I could see the comments for Game of the Year. But let's be honest, I think you and I can both expect what was going to be on it. The majority would say boo, the other half would say you suck, and just a small percentage would just say LOL haters, it's just a game.
And it is just a game. And nobody's denying that it's just a game.
Like, alright,
But
I'll
it's a bad
say
game.
this. Yes, it is a game. We all shouldn't get mad about games. But two factors. One, you just said, it's a bad game. And two, when people want to play games, they want to be immersed in the story and the atmosphere. Well, where is it in Last of Us 2? It's bleak, dull, and unintelligible. And you're telling me it wins Game of the Year because of that? Oh, because this journalist that I found, he said that it's riveting to the story and to the politics that are going on modern day.
Hey, you know why that fucking Troy Baker is saying that Joel was his breakout role?
Yeah, because he was like the voted
Because
greatest character.
Entertainment Weekly listed him as the best of 2013 issue for best breakout actor in the video game industry for his performance as Joel in Last of Us.
His performance, all he had to do was sound like a gruff old Texan man.
You know, maybe here's what he could do, okay? Why doesn't he just realize that people like Nolan North get out there because they get to play as a character that people love, and people did like Joel. And putting yourself in using the fucking, ooh, I'm the best voice actor of 2013, so fuck you. It's like, congratulations. Your fucking best character is the reason why humanity is still struggling in its world. Have fun with that.
Yeah. Like,
Troy, you're not a bad guy.
You aren't, honestly. You just choose to be a part of a really shit company.
But I think even Nolan North can look at that and say, huh.
And the fact that Nolan North was even at the Game of the Year awards.
I think even Nolan would have looked at him and said, I think you're getting a little too high on yourself there, buddy.
Yeah,
just
dude.
Just a tidbit there. It's not like if I type in the name Nolan North on IMDb that it's a literal voice acting list that is almost impossible to find everything on.
I mean, you got, oh, I don't know, you got roles such
You
as,
know, Nathan Drake. His most famous role, according to IMDb,
Captain Martin Walker from Spec Ops: The Line.
his favorite role, which is obvious because it's so fucking good. And nobody will ever fight him on that because it is really fucking good. It's like if I God, I'm just gonna click fucking all filmography quick. I'm just gonna give you the number. I don't even care. I mean, he's for me, the first time I've ever heard Nolan North's voice is in fucking Zombies for goddamn Call of Duty World at War. He was Richtofen.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fucking. Listen, I'm gonna say it as it is, and I'm gonna leave it at this. If you like Last of Us 2, good for you.
Hmm.
If you hate Last of Us 2, good for you. If you don't care about Last of Us 2, I'm really glad that you have your window and you can see from your window.
Of course.
Honestly, because I would prefer that point of view of just not giving a fuck.
And the fact that this game became overshadowed based from all these new releases and little world premieres and new updates that would be coming out, but nobody cared at that point. Just everyone was already emotionally drained after that. Like, to the people who still want to defend Last of Us 2, okay, fine, but at some point, based from what we've seen from the Game Awards, you should know what a game looks like based on narrative and written structure. Games such as Final Fantasy VII Remake, which, like what Mike said, took years since 1997, remaking, remastering.
98.
98, excuse me. Games like Animal Crossing, which a game was literally made for fun
Has
for
been around
fans.
since the N64, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't know about that one actually. That was a new one I found out about. I'm like, wait, what?
And then you got a game like Hades, which, even though I have not played and it looks really fantastic, it should learn a thing or two of not messing up the story just for your own personal perspective.
I understand the gameplay was really good, but you can't be the best game of the year if your fucking sales don't match it.
And furthermore, Doom Eternal, a game literally made for metal fans who fell in love with the franchise because it's simple. Kill the demons in the most gory way while headbanging into death metal music. What's not to hate about it? Or what's not to love about it? And then you get Ghost of Tsushima, a game that should have won, in my opinion. You can disagree with me or not, I'm not going to make fun of you for it. A game that should have won Game of the Year.
Oh,
Based
really
on.
quick.
Shoot, yeah, go ahead.
Ghost of Tsushima is still $60 at Walmart. September 16th, 2020. Last of Us 2 dropped to $20 off at Walmart.
Oh, you know damn well. You know damn well they had to lower the price, so
A
Druckmann,
game that is
oh, you have to
currently
give this game a chance.
a game that is currently worth $23.08 and came out this year.
That's how low the value of this game is based
It
on narrative
literally
structure
it
and
went from a
design.
game that was $60 to, oh boy, having a tough time getting that fucking $30 threshold.
And of course, what made Tsushima just so successful is just the beautiful cinematography, the amazing voice cast, the wonderful characters, the missions, the side quests, the little adventures in between. down to even the villain, who is historically accurate, which, if you're a villain who's like related to one of the most ruthless and, in my opinion, greatest world dynasty like leaders and generals of mankind, that'd be really cool. I'd rather prefer that than female version of Senator Armstrong. Down to the custom outfit designs,
I would
colors,
have
even
preferred fucking Senator Armstrong than female Senator Armstrong. At least he played college ball, you know.
nanomachines, son.
Nanomachine.
Oh, you know damn well Abby was trying. Neil Druckmann, when creating this character, he took one look at Metal Gear Rising and he's like, "Yeah, I want to create like that kind of character." But
I want to
woman,
change their race to match it even harder.
like,
It is so distasteful. I swear to God.
and the fact that that you're still banning people that are cosplaying as Senator Armstrong and saying that they're Abby, and you're banning people for that, that just proves why again? Are you saying that this game is considered your magnum opus of 2020?
Oh, because
I will never know.
Because he has a very small magnum opus. He also can't use magnums, for he has a very small dick.
Fair.
Ask his wife; she'll agree.
Yeah.
Now it's becoming a personal attack, and I feel like I'm gonna get some shit for it. So I'll back up a little bit.
Yeah, because of course, we've called Druckmann named like he's a simp for Anita
cuck.
Sarkeesian. He's a cuck. We addressed him as Cuckman. But we're not like those people that openly wish death upon him. Like,
No,
yeah,
I
we're
just want
angry
him
at
to
him,
learn.
but
I just want him to learn from being a bad writer. That's all it is. He's
like,
just a bad writer.
we have opinions, but at least we're human at the end of the day. We're not like those animals on Twitter that constantly wish death upon, because the moment you wish death on someone,
You lose your
that's
argument.
just you lose your arguments and you just lose everyone's faith on you.
However, calling him a little dick boy is just funny.
Yeah.
That's it.
But in any case,
It's just funny.
yeah.
I don't need to justify my actions of why I think it's funny. It's just funny.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Honestly.
No extra detail, no nonsense, no bullshit. I think it's funny.
And that's okay, because we can find entertainment in our own pleasure. If you don't like it, find somewhere else. We're not forcing you to like it. But you can agree to disagree. And we won't be mad. But what we're trying to explain to you watching and listening, and for those who just want to understand why we're making this podcast tonight, is a takeaway that if you aspire to be a good writer for either books, movies, or even gaming, you should take in an example of what bad writing looks like.
Here's what bad writing does to your game, okay? Bad writing is Last of Us 2. Bad writing eventually leads to, after the second week of the game coming out, it having an 80% fucking downfall. For one of the highest selling games for the first week, its second week, it had an 80% fucking downfall.
Now, as mentioned before, we knew that the Game Awards just wouldn't allow the fact that this game would win, but because of its predecessor winning in 2013 and the fact that Druckmann really wanted to appease those journalists and really wanted to disregard all those media criticisms on YouTube that this was a dog shit game, which is a dog shit game, he had to go out of his way to really rig the ballot here. And all we could say is, yeah, it's rigged. It always has.
Eh.
The game was rigged from the start.
The fun never ends.
Hmm.
It is, yeah.
It's literally a competition that has been watered down to a specific demographic. What the best game truly means in these awards that they are trying to display is entirely your decision. You can agree to choose a different game, or you can continue to support this game. But the main takeaway is that when you look at a game that has really bad writing and a really bad sales rating, you should know or put two and two together and realize this is mediocre, and I would actually want something that entertains me rather than make me feel all depressed. But in any
Now,
case,
now, this has to be said. This is coming from the era of children, of boys and girls, you and I, who have been playing fucking video games since about the late 90s, early 2000s.
Mhm.
Here's the thing that I notice, and I think that one of the most interesting things about this little game doing what it does and being steaming pile of hot garbage. Not a small thing of hot garbage, a very, very, very steaming pile of it. It is very fucking impressive that within a very short period of time of its release, not only was it hated by the people that were looking forward to playing it, and probably would have loved the shit out of it if it was very good of a story, it was so fucking panned when it came out that not only did it gain some serious online attention for how bad it was lied about of how bad it was going to be by every media outlet, giving it 95s, 100s that it didn't deserve.
most certainly
Because
did not.
if let's say even 3/5 of your audience is having an issue with your story writing, that's not great. Then that means your storytelling is really fucking awkward and bad. And you don't want to do that. Because that's how you write bad, very fucking terrible stories.
We want to be enthralled by the stories that most people want to show from their ways. We are enthralled. We are amazed. And at the end of the day, we're just feeling there with a sense of, wow, I just went on a journey that made me experience something that I would experience or may not experience in the real life. In this game, it's just sad. It's sad porn. It's sad hours, boys.
If you've ever wanted to know what it felt like to sit on a pine cone while getting your ass fucked by a porcupine while falling down a hill into a pile of cactus, this is the game that really is a pain in the prick.
And if you still find a sliver of enjoyment in this game, fine. I just don't see it.
No, good for you. You found enjoyment where others did not. You found qualities that you enjoyed, and good for you that you were able to do that. However, please understand from other people's perspective, this is not. The
This
game
is
probably
not.
has really good gameplay. It's probably solid, but I'm the kid who grew up without an internet connection a lot of the time. So single player story is like keeps me going. A lot of games.
Mm-hmm.
And I need a good fucking story or good enough gameplay to keep me hooked. And Last of Us 2 bored me out because I didn't get why just awkward.
It felt like everything that the game was attempting to do, it tried to reinforce just too hard.
And at the end of the day, whenever people or content creators, they just go into this game expecting something to change, something, they all have the same idea that we have, but they just don't want to admit it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you think something is bad, call it out. Or if you're not going to call it out,
Nope, don't do that. That's smart. No, don't do that though.
yeah,
No, don't do that. Get in
Don't do
trouble
it.
with massive media focus groups.
I mean, hell, as soon as the leaks came out, we've been getting our information on this game from a dude that was voicing a goddamn Yoda puppet. And he was more factual than any other game journalist on YouTube. And everyone else followed suit because they knew what
It's
bad
fucking
writing looks like.
crazy. It's just too much. It's fucking so stupid.
It was stupid at first, but when you get on the nitty gritty, he was right. And so was everyone else.
It's just bad. That's all it is. It's just really, really fucking bad. It's not fun.
And it
doesn't
never will
make me
be.
want to keep watching. It doesn't make me want to keep playing. Hell, I could barely get through watching the fucking cinematics.
Yeah. Because the cinematics are that they're trying so hard to tug at your heartstrings. Just, oh, look how emotional it is. Look how emotional Ellie is after she's killed like Abby's friends, even though she's killed any other members of the WLF. But let's not worry about that. Oh, look, Abby is making connections with a rival faction, which makes her human. I'm sorry, that part in the game where Abby just meets up with two members of the enemy faction and befriends them because, oh, their society on Christianity sucks. Which, another thing that's also pointed out in this game, apparently Druckmann had the idea for this rival faction that we didn't get to talk about in our other podcast. Was Druckmann really wanted to push the agenda that there are in real life Christian zealots and pushing the narrative that they're just all bad. Now, I'll agree, and I'm going to go there. If you guys have the opinion of Christianity, that's up to you. And for those of us who know the story of what happened in the past, yeah, fair, there was bloodshed on both hands. But in this game, it's just taking it to the extent where everything is bad. Either you do this or you die. You follow our rules. If not, you die. Because it is written. And I get it, you're trying to push for that message, but it's a message no one would want to hear or expect in a game that's just all about a zombie apocalypse.
You see, you're not seeing the full story. How to get Nikos to just go, I fucking swear to God, Mike. You're just not getting the full story yet. You see, the zombies hate gays. And the more gays that shows up, the angrier the zombies get. And if the zombies get angry enough, they kill themselves. So he keeps throwing more and more gay at it.
Fair. And just for hindsight, we are not against the LGBT community. We're very
if you're
tolerant
gay,
of
who
the LGBT
cares?
community. But the thing is, this game does a really good job, or at least a really bad job, at representing the community to the point where they treat it like actual garbage.
Now, meanwhile, to give the example, Last of Us 2 did about 2.8 million fucking units sold the day it came out. About the first weekend it came out, correct?
Yes, correct.
Yeah. So Cyberpunk just sold 8 million copies before it even actually fucking launched.
A day before today. Yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday, before it launched. I have the exact date. Yeah.
A game that was highly anticipated.
74% were pre-orders for Steam, GOG, PlayStation, and Microsoft stores.
It goes to show. Now, I've already heard some problems from Cyberpunk, mainly from from consoles. Some things are glitches, but that's expected. Okay, there are glitches in consoles. Who would have thunked it? But
I mean, it's going to be glitchy. They already said it was going to be. They already came out with a patch for it. And the patch is going to take a little while because the big fucking patch. Do I think that that's kind of stupid from time to time? Yes, of course, because I think the day one patch is fucking stupid. But we're lucky to get this game out in 2020 for fuck's sake. And I swear, if this game outbeats, like, just genuine sales. Also, how the fuck did Last of Us do so well when it's a console exclusive game?
I guess we're to assume that maybe Naughty Dog has just crunched the numbers a bit, to fool everyone in sales.
We buried a couple of billion. We buried about 2.8 million copies in the desert.
Yeah, I guess that's the theory we'll go for here.
So it
I mean, we can
is.
continue.
It is amazing. It really is. Meanwhile, not to change topic,
Mhm.
but hey, the Game Awards. They're the Game Awards. The only time that I have ever followed it was in 2018, and then I just went, okay, I watched one of these. I think I've hit my quota for the day. I don't have to
Same
ever watch
here.
these ever
2018 was
again.
also the time I watched Game of the Year awards because I really want to know if God of War won, and occasionally off, it did. Yay!
Because nobody was actually going to be shocked by that. However, god damn, was I like, oh, please, Red Dead Redemption 2, please don't fucking steal this spot for some reason.
It looked like, and honestly, I feel like that's what we were supposed to expect in this Game of the Year, where Last of Us 2 gets the other major awards, but in the final award, Game of the Year, another game would just steal that, and we were really expecting any other game besides that. But lo and behold, yeah, it was rigged. Now, you may think, oh, it wasn't rigged. Respect the election. Yeah, sure. Respect the election. Okay, yeah, sure. Okay.
I really can't wait to be called a hater. I really can't. Because it's like, listen, I hate good games and I hate bad games. I hate games that fucking suck. This is just a bad game. It is
Of
such a
course.
narrative fucking mess that I am shocked that I didn't read this in high school from somebody on their fucking binder. I'm gonna
Honestly,
be honest.
the
I'm
feeling's
gonna be
mutual.
100% with you, Chief. Like, I'm blown the fuck away that that this game did not get another revision before they launched it, or
In
had
fact,
another
that's
couple months to fix it and polish some of the story elements
in
to
fact that's
make it.
what we called for. We said that Naughty Dog should delay this just to fix it up a bit so that the leaks wouldn't come out saying everything was true. But
That's why
nah.
you. That's why you make sure that the fucking leaks aren't true. That was their entire fucking story, and they literally confirmed the leaks were real. like morons. If they didn't say a fucking word, it would have been fine.
Yeah. Would have been
If they
fine.
didn't say a fucking word, nobody would have cared. But they had to. Neil fucking Druckmann had to open up his big stupid mouth,
And make it
and
worse.
this is what we get.
Was there anything else from the Game Awards that we thought was okay? I mean, I thought that Mass Effect trailer for the new upcoming games were fine. There is a
I'm only
new upcoming
human
evil.
after all. I'm only human after all.
After all, don't put the blame on me.
Me.
There's gonna be an Evil
This
Dead
is
game coming out. Probably
This is my
made from the same
favorite
guys
store on the
from.
Citadel.
Yeah.
I actually like that. I actually really like Mass Effect. I just
Yeah.
think the third game is a little awkward, and yeah, the fourth title is a little.
We don't talk
fucking
about the
broken.
fourth title.
It's okay.
Mm.
It could be. At least the stories. At least it has a story.
Hell, we would even go far as to say Andromeda had a better story than Last of Us 2.
At least Andromeda wasn't there to piss all over the fans because it was a side story. It has nothing to do with the original fucking canon.
Fair. But in any sense, if you
Sephiroth.
aspire, or at least if you want to see what bad writing will do to a game, that's this. This felt more like a participation award than a Game of the Year awards. Like, all right, you made this. Okay, here's your award. You did it. Nice. Now, please don't make another one. And we know for a fact that they'll probably make another one again. But if you're still insisting on waiting for the third game, if it'll ever be released, just say invest your $60 into something worth it. But who are we to say? I mean, you might disregard this. Who knows? You're only human after all. Don't put the blame on us.
Hey, you know what? I have one word to describe 2020. And this is for all those Dark Souls fans that we obviously don't have in the audience, but fuck it, I'm going to say it anyway. Blight Town.
Mm,
If you don't know what it means, oh god.
yeah.
Have fun either playing or looking that shit up. And then trying to have it explained.
Yeah.
That being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming onto the podcast.
If you
Don't
like
know
this
where
video,
this is going to be placed. Hopefully, sooner than rather than later. But yeah, the Game Awards just came out, and goddamn, was this just bad.
yeah. It just goes to show just how not credible this is, and I should look forward to other good, credible sources of games made by people who deserve an award for just how brilliantly amazing they make for gameplay, story, and everything in between.
Well, good night, folks. I'm going to go and sleep for a set amount of hours that would probably help me.
Fair. Well,
Or
if you like the
maybe
video,
they won't.
please like and subscribe to the channel. Check
Like,
out
comment, subscribe, watch Disney Plus.
Watch Mandalorian.
Candle Shoe. Mr.
Mr.
Bookity.
Boogity. Fuzz Bucket.
I don't want to watch Fuzz Bucket.
You better watch Fuzz Bucket, goddammit.
I don't want to watch Fuzz.
How about I buy Disney Plus for you when you can just pay me back.
You know what I think about that plan?
Alright, ladies and gentlemen. If you like the video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Check out the other stuff on the channel. We got a new episode of Indie Force coming out soon.
Did you like
And
my
there's
plan?
also... Yeah, I liked your plan. Have a good night, ladies and gentlemen.